curveball. After my 10-year marriage ended, everything changed overnight. And I found myself asking, so what now? This podcast is my answer. And it's not just my journey, it's ours. It's for those of us who have had to reset, pivot, or start over in the face of life's unexpected challenges. Together, we'll explore healing, happiness, grief, self-reflection, forgiveness, dating, yes, dating, because I gotta get back in these streets, and everything in between. Through my journey, I'm creating a safe space for us to come together, reclaim our strength, and rebuild our lives. You don't have to go through this alone. Together, we'll find the confidence to create the happily ever after we all deserve. So what now? Let's figure it out together. Hey, welcome to So What Now? My name is MoShay, the podcast that is helping you to turn painful endings into beautiful new beginnings. And before we get too deep into tonight's show, I just really want to take this opportunity to remind you that October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. If you know me, you know that I've advocated for victims of domestic violence. I've lobbied legislation to change. I was instrumental in being a part of the VAWA Act. Do your research on that, Violence Against Women Act. So I've done a lot of work around this, and it's near and dear to my heart. So if you yourself, or if you know someone who is struggling through domestic violence, please know that there's help out there. There is a number right there to call. Please call that number. All right. You know how I like to start every show. Before we start, let me just make sure that you know that this is a libation. This is a water libation type of podcast. In other words, we sit and we hydrate in that order. Okay. So get your wine. Get all your things. The first thing I want to do is just thank you, right? I just want to thank you. This is what, episode 4? This is episode 4. Oh my gosh, can you believe it? It's been 4 weeks already. And the outpour of love that I've received is beyond. It is beyond. Do you hear me? And you know what, Taj, let me tell you something. That's my producer. Remember, I talked to her. She's up here. Let me tell you something. We got 10,000 views. I got that notification today, 10,000 views. Thank you so much for even taking time to pin messages and to tell me how this podcast has affected you positively, to share your own stories. It means so much because that is truly my intention in doing this. There was one that was very near and dear to my heart that I wanted to read to you. And it says, "Damn, Mo, I've been rocking with you for probably 20 plus years. This video podcast I just watched was both inspiring and heartbreaking. I always tell my babies what glitters isn't always gold, and what you see ain't always how it is. I am so proud of you for always sharing your stories because it both encourages and teaches. Love you always." And a very tight hug from a loyal listener / follower in Philly. So virtual hugs out to you and just to all of you guys. I appreciate you beyond words. Because this podcast means so much to me, and I'm seeing that it means so much to you, here's what I'd like you to do for me. Please like, subscribe, share with a friend, okay? I really want to build a village, like a real community here, okay? We want to take this thing from a virtual space and eventually take it out to a brick and mortar where we can all get together and we can touch and feel and laugh and cry and do all the things, okay? So please like, share, and subscribe. Got me? All right, so now that we've kind of got into all that, let's get into this week's topic, shall we?
Alpha female to me is a leader. Their confidence, decisiveness, and their ability to inspire others make them a natural leader. They often excel in roles that require vision, strategy, and the ability to rally a team towards their common goal. So when I think about alpha female, leader, unwavered leader.
Enjoying the show so far? Well, please like, comment, subscribe, or share. And to keep up with all things MoShay Loren, that's me, head over to MoShayLoren.com. You heard the man, right? You heard the man. Not just the man, he is one of the brothers in my village, because I talk a lot about my village. I have a village of family, obviously. I have a village of friends, sister friends who have become family, and I have a village of bros that really hold me down. So shout out to my man, Charlie Mack. That's who that was. But you heard him, right? He said he speaks very positively about an alpha female. And my question is, why then do alpha women get a bad rap? Like, why do alpha women get a bad rap? I posed this question, unaided question no less, on my social media pages to get some opinions, male and female opinions. I was open to everybody about the first thing that you think of when you think of the phrase alpha female. Here are some of the responses we got. This one says, nothing wrong with it. The problem isn't alpha female, it's the incorrect definition of it. I agree. This one says, I love them, they're sexy. Tell me more about my eyes. Let's see. This one says, we either work or we don't, but it's not gonna be because she's an alpha. Okay. This one says, we intimidate a lot of people, especially men. And if I can add something in between especially and men, especially beta men. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Okay. So, and I have one other too that I didn't have on the screen. So I just wanted to acknowledge my TikTok village. But Joy Lux Events on TikTok said, being in charge in all areas, not because we want to be. And they want submissiveness, but don't provide security. Okay, so now let's really let's unpack this thing and get into the definition of what an alpha female is. An alpha female, by definition, is a strong, powerful leader. A strong, powerful leader. So then why does it have such a negative connotation if it is only a strong, what is negative about a strong woman, a powerful woman, and a woman who takes leadership very seriously? What's wrong with that? I will tell you, what's wrong with that is the same thing that's wrong with adjectives, right, that negatively describe women, whereas when men display the same adjectives, they're looked at more positively. Let me give you some examples. Give me 1 second. Remember, libations, right? It's wine, sit, and then it's happening. Let me give you some of the adjectives. Oh, I gotta show y'all Max and Milo. Come here, Maxie. Come here, Milo. I gotta show y'all. They look so cute. I've been keeping them off camera the last few weeks because they were a little dingy. Come here, real quick. Okay, so here we go. They would say about a woman, she's bossy. But what they'll say about a man is he's assertive. They will say about us women, oh, she's emotional. And what they'll say about men is, oh, he's passionate and driven. They say she's difficult, but yet he's determined. They say she's bitchy, but yet he's tough. Oh, this one right here, this is by far my favorite because this is probably what I've been called 99.9% of my life. She's aggressive. How many people have called you aggressive? She's aggressive, but yet a man is ambitious. Okay, you see where this is going, right? Okay, and the problem with that is that many of us women are alpha women by default. Many of us are alpha women by default when you really think about it. Let's go back to the days of old, right? Let's go back to great grandma, even grandmothers, but let's go back to the great grandma era, okay? This is back when that adage, remember the saying that says, he brings home the bacon, he brings home the bacon and mama will fry it up, cook it up for the kids, right? Bring home the bacon. This is when men were the financial providers in their household, and they would go out and they would, bring home the money, and the wife would take care of the kids and the house and all that good stuff and whatever not. And that's fine. I understand where we are in this society, but I'm just trying to give you history on how this alpha woman thing came to be, in my opinion. So now, when I grew up, when you grew up, mostly, we probably grew up in a lot of single family households, right? There's a lot of single family households. So somewhere between when Papa used to bring home the bacon and when I was born, something happened. There was a disconnect. And so women then had to start fending for themselves. You saw your mom raise you and your siblings, or you saw your grandmother raise you and your siblings. And we saw the women in our community stepping up, stepping to the plate and doing what men were absent from doing, right? Men were no longer there to do these things. And so we had to take on a different persona. And that's where I believe this alpha spirit in women had to really come forward, because now we're the ones having to lead and protect those children that you left me with. Now we're the ones that have to, provide safety and security for our families in the absence of the man. Right? And so now we're taking on this very dominant personality, and yet a lot of us are losing our femininity in the process. So here we go. We're in a new day and age, right? I remember when the feminist movement started back in the 90s, because there was like 3 phases of the feminist movement. I believe it started back in the early 1800s, and then there was another phase of it somewhere in the late 1800s. And then in the 1900s, it really sort of, took a different life form, where women started really stepping into their power, not just in the homes and taking care of our children, but we started stepping into power even outside of our homes in the corporate settings. And then we got smart enough to realize, oh, wow, we can start our own businesses. So now we're entrepreneurs and we doing it. Okay, listen, ladies, cheers to you, cheers to us, because we are doing it these days. Okay, can we just toast one time to the ladies for doing it? Just 1 second. Remember, hydration, libation, hydration, libation, or libation, hydration. So here we are. We're having to fend for ourselves, right? And we're these leaders and these protectors of our households, of our worlds, if you will. And we are now in the workforce, and we've got to be a powerful force to be reckoned with, if you will, outside of the home, because we need to be taken seriously. And so we had to do that by default, because what's the other option, right? When you can't rely on a man to give you the sense of security and safety, you have to learn to provide it for yourself, because who else will? Who else will? So I really want to have a balanced view, if you will. I really want to have a balanced view in this whole thing. So because I consider myself an alpha woman, I'm an alpha woman, I wanted to know what the brothers had to say. So I did reach out to a lot of my village. And ladies, let me just tell you, they had a whole lot to offer. So on the other side of this little break, I want to hear from another one of my brothers right after this.
Step into Closet Bar, the spot where fashion meets attitude and every piece is a vibe. Whether you're looking to shake or stir up a night out, or something casual for your everyday slay, they've got pieces that'll serve you day and night. From casual to sexy, trendy, and timeless. Freshen up your wardrobe with Closet Bar. Timeless pieces, brunch pieces, day with your bae pieces, and everything in between. At Closet Bar, fashion is made for everyone. With a wide range of sizes and styles, there's something for every woman, no matter your age, shape, or vibe. Want some extra help curating your look? Book a personal style session and let our experts craft the perfect outfits for you, tailored to your personality and lifestyle. Head over to Closet Bar and get a taste of what it means to stand out. Shop the latest collections and upgrade your style game. Don't miss out on the must-have pieces that'll keep you fly and fierce no matter where the day or night takes you. Whether it's a statement piece or everyday essential, Closet Bar has what you need to feel confident and look amazing. For your next signature look, shop myclosetbar.com. Use the word closet at checkout and receive a 10% discount. Closet Bar, because you deserve to look as good as you feel.
Oh, okay. Hey, we're back. We are back. So I wanted to recap this conversation. Okay, I wanted to recap a conversation. Not a conversation. I wanted to recap an incident there. An incident that happened. Well, first things first. I'm gonna recap this conversation because I want to take y'all back to another episode, right? The dating episode, which I think was last week. So the dating episode, I told you about this 24-hour dream date that I had, right? I told you about this 24-hour dream date. And what I didn't tell you is that in one of our conversations when we were, talking during that day, we brought up, and I don't know how it was brought up, but it came up and I said something and I said to him, I'm an alpha female. And he immediately responded, ooh, that's a red flag for me. And I was like, really? And we never really unpacked it, but I took note of that because he had sort of like a very emotional sort of reaction to me saying that, right? Body language wise. But I took note of that and I thought to myself, I said, I wonder what happened with the women in his life that he had such a visceral sort of reaction and negative reaction to me saying that I was an alpha female and why it raises so many red flags with him. And the problem is that people tend to see Black women in particular, those in leadership roles, like I said before, when we talked about the adjectives between how women are perceived versus men, people see us as being bossy or manly as soon as they hear alpha as it relates to a woman, right? And so I don't consider this guy a beta, though. That's the whole thing. That's what was weird to me, because an alpha male can usually understand better an alpha female because they're so alpha, they're so masculine in theirs that they know how to just make you purr. You know what I mean? So it's really weird that he had that reaction. But again, I believe that this plays back into a long history of racist and sexist stereotypes of Black women, particularly, because they perceive us as being masculine or not feminine enough. And one of the biggest examples I can give you is Michelle Obama. Right? Michelle Obama. She was ridiculed. She was accused of being too masculine. Y'all remember this? And she is the epitome of what I consider an alpha female. And here's why. She stood by her man, her husband, until he became the first Black president of the United States, right? So let me ask you this. Didn't it take her standing in both her alpha and her female and her feminine energy to support her husband into his greatest potential? Didn't it take her being a strong leader? Didn't it take her being that woman to support that man into being the president of the United States? But the difference is she had balance because she was also very feminine. So my question then, conversely, I would have to say, didn't he create an environment where she felt safe enough, supported enough, and loved enough to stand by him so that he could walk into his greatest potential? You see the difference? It's balance. He did what he needed to do. She did what she needed to do. So it can all exist together. Alpha and feminine can exist together where the environment and the soil is tilled and sowed, and the security is sowed, the protection is sowed, and all the things that we need to be feminine is sowed into the soil and the environment, so that my alpha can be alpha when she needs to be, and then I can purr and be feminine when I need to be for you, boo. You see how that works? So fellas, what am I saying? You got to do your part. You got to do your part. You got to do your part. All right, I'm parched. Remember, libation. Hydration. I should coin that. Libation, hydration. Make me some t-shirts. Somebody make me some t-shirts. Call them libation, hydration, okay? Mick, get on that. Mick, get on that. Okay. All right, so we've spent some time talking about wait a minute. Oh, okay. I got something else. Y'all, I'm just so excited to tell you some other stuff. It's going to be in a minute. We spent a lot of time talking about the alpha female and how she came to be, right? But what we do, what do we as women need to do in order to strike that Michelle Obama balance, right? Because balance is what's necessary. So because I'm here, I'm trying to be open. I'm trying to really step into this soft girl life, y'all. I'm really stepping into my soft girl life. And I want to allow a man to assist me. I want to allow and open myself up for assistance from a man. But can I tell you, I did that this week and I was stood up again by a different man. More after this break, chat.
Enjoying the show so far? Well, please like, comment, subscribe, or share. And to keep up with all things MoShay Loren, that's me, head over to MoShayLoren.com.
All right, so I want to hear from another one of my brothers from my village really quick. I want to hear from you.
Most times when I really think about it, they're females that are often goal oriented, they're self-assured in their own right. They're comfortable taking charge in most parts of their life. Um, you know, I love it. I love the idea of it in business. I love it in the work environment. I think it gets muddy in relationships because, men are raised to be kings and providers. And so sometimes, I think there's friction when you have an alpha female and a strong male that wants to be king of his household.
I agree. No lies told there, but that's the balance. I'm saying that, ladies, we've got to find a way to strike. We've got to find a way to deliver on both because I believe both can exist. Okay. Thank you. That's to my brother Walt. Hey Walt, love you, bro. I can't wait to get my brothers on this couch. When I tell you, I'm gonna get all my brothers on this couch and we're gonna have a real conversation, ladies. So soon come. So let me just tell you the story, okay? So I'm doing this renovation down in the city, and the house is dilapidated and it needed to be properly boarded up. And I had an appraiser coming to get into it to do an evaluation. So I called this friend, this guy, he's been sweet on me, okay? Let me tell you something, honey. There's no shortage of people that I can call these days, okay? But anyway, I called this guy and I asked him if he could meet me over at the house because I wanted to get him to take down the plywood so that the appraiser could get in. And so literally I left the house. We talked that night. He called me that morning, reconfirmed. So we confirmed now 2 times. So I'm very, very certain that he's going to be there. But I leave, okay? I leave the house and I get halfway down my block and something told me, Mo, turn around and go back and get your toolbox. Turn around and go back and get your toolbox, get your own stuff. And I did just that. So I get down there and it's about 10 minutes into, the time he was supposed to be there. He wasn't there. The appraiser came. He needed to get in. So I just immediately went to work. Got my tools out. Okay. And I'm starting to, board up or take the boards down for the appraiser to get in. He gets in, does his evaluation. And we come out of the house and the guy still ain't there. So now here I am. It was easy to take down. But it wasn't so easy to put up. So now here I am, 5'2" tall, and I'm trying to secure this plywood back to the freaking house, okay? Because I never expected to have to do it by myself. I'm trying to do it at what? Lord have mercy, the damn thing almost hammered me in underneath the darn porch, okay? And the reason why I take, you probably say, well, why'd you take this? I'm gonna tell you why. Because when I realized that I had gotten stood up yet again by a man who wanted to show me that he wanted to sort of be there for me and didn't show up. When I realized that this was what was happening, I had gone on TikTok earlier that morning to talk about this whole alpha female thing. And it was ironic that on that same day, I had literally a live video, or I was dealing with the same thing in that same day. is what I'm saying. So I just felt the need to turn your camera on and just talk to the people and show them what I'm saying. I just lived through this moment where I relied on a man who didn't show up for me, who said he would, but didn't show up for me. And I had to fend for myself. And this is why I'm happy that I take leadership in what I do. I'm happy that I'm skilled and I'm able to do for myself because I was able to do for myself on that day. You see what I'm saying? And so I think this is just a small example of the many examples that we can give about why, and how women came to be so dominant in that energy. I'm really grateful, I'm truly grateful and blessed that over the years, I've been able to cultivate a lot of skills that I need to take care of myself. Because I had only been married for 10 years. I've been single much longer than I had been married. And I raised my daughter. I went out, I hustled, I did what I had to do. I was doing radio, but I also knew the importance of, always sort of keeping extra streams of income. So I've always been a leader, and that I'm grateful for because that's what my daughter is now. My daughter is very much so like my little mini me. If you know her, you know she is my mini me. But being an alpha woman really has been my superpower. It has really become my superpower. But during my marriage, my superpower was turned against me. And that's a large part of why I wanted to talk about this today. During my marriage, my husband used to say to me all the time that what attracted him to me the most was when he met me, I was just out there doing it. I was moving, I was shaking, had just gotten laid off from my radio job, and I was out there hustling and doing what I had to do, being that strong, powerful leader. And that's what attracted him to me. But in the marriage, right? And after all the things in the marriage that started to happen with the infidelity, the serial infidelity and all that sort of stuff, that masculine person, she didn't submit. She actually got bigger. She got bigger because I started to put these defense mechanisms in place. I started to guard myself. I started to just sort of, listen to my own heart, follow my own heart, do my own thing. While in the marriage, do my own thing in terms of, girl, you got to make sure you got this, you got to secure this, you know what I'm saying? So because I just wasn't trusting where he was leading me. But when he would say it to me a lot in the marriage, I started to really question, am I too masculine? Am I too masculine? Am I not feminine enough? And then when I would see the women that he would step out on me, the people he would step out, I knew that they were super feminine and girly and all the things. And I'm just like, wow, maybe what he's saying is right. I started to really question myself because at the same time that I'm questioning myself, I'm thinking, wow, I'm like this because you're sort of, your behavior is turning me into this person, right? Your behavior is turning me into this person, the person that I stood at that altar and I pledged my vow to them, also pledged their vow to me. And the person that I expected to love and protect me was the same person that was hurting me, right? And yet this same person that was hurting me was weaponizing my defense mechanism, which was my alpha spirit against me. It wasn't making sense. You see what I'm saying? It really wasn't making sense. And I spent so much time in the marriage really trying to lead him into his potential, trying to support him into his potential, that I truly just lost myself. Right? I lost all bouts of femininity in many ways. And I just felt like it was oxymoronic, right? It's oxymoronic for a man to ask a woman to show up as your softest self, yet they give you every reason to be hard. Where they do that at? Where they do that at? How you want to create chaos and want peace? Like that just doesn't make sense to me or nobody else. right? And the key to all of this, and the key to really like shedding that alpha spirit, is trusting. Is trusting. I think I heard this it was a clip between Pastor Keon and Shawnee O'Neal, and they were talking about the word. They said, "What is the one thing that is key to a successful marriage or relationship?" And somebody said communication. He was like, "It's not communication, it's trust." Because think about it. If you don't trust someone, you don't trust their communication. If you don't trust someone, you don't trust them with your heart. You don't trust them with your to guide and lead you. Like, how you gonna lead me when you going 150 miles an hour up against a brick wall? What, you want me to sit in the passenger side and go with you? No. You can't lead me if I'm seeing that you're not doing a good job at leading yourself. And that's what was happening in my marriage. But like I said, he weaponized my alpha spirit against me as if I wasn't enough, as if I wasn't feminine enough, right? And so I think that culminating this whole conversation, I think that we as women, we just really have to learn when and how to bring forth that balance. Michelle Obama, I can't think of a better example. Can you think of a better example of a woman who has sort of perfected when to show up powerful and when to dial back in her femininity and just show up as a supportive wife of her man? I can't think of a woman that comes to mind that does that as well as she does. I want to talk to my, can I talk to my big lady, my producer in the sky real quick?
I'm here. Hi.
Hey, how are you, darling?
I'm good.
I'm trying to be mindful of our time. How much time do we have?
Don't worry. We got plenty of time. Whatever you
We got
want to say and do, let's do. Get comfortable. Let's talk.
Okay, let's talk. Let's do it. Let's do it. So I think one of the other things that, I have another, I don't know if you can bring this up as quickly, Taj. I put another one in there. If you can bring it up, fine. If you can't, don't worry about it. I can kind of remember what he said. But one of my brothers, when I talked to him about it, actually really talked to him about it. And he is, I wouldn't say self-admittedly, but he is more of a beta alpha, right? So a beta man is somebody who is, it's not that they're a simp, it's not that they're a simp, but they're much more emotional, in tune to their emotions, right? They tend to be a little more vulnerable, right? In terms of being expressive about how they feel and the such. They tend to be a little more vulnerable, and they are comfortable with a alpha female in that their energies don't challenge one another. And so one of my brothers that I talked to over the week, he was saying that his struggle with being who he was and his significant other was all alpha is that he had trouble with the balance of it all. Right? So this is a different perspective, right? A beta man, or seemingly a beta man, having trouble with knowing when to, sort of power up and when to dial back. And so what I told him is this. I said, listen, I think just being in relationships, men or women, I think we all have our work to do with knowing when to activate and when to sort of pull back. Would you agree? Like we all have our work to do there. Because I'm an alpha woman. I don't want no doormat. Now, I don't want no doormat. Don't just let me say whatever, do whatever. I want you to be in touch with your emotions. I want you to be vulnerable. I want you to be free to be expressive. But I don't want you crying every day. I don't want you crying more than me. I don't want that. But I do want you to know how to sort of, release that alpha energy and just be like, yo, babe, that really hurt me, or I'm really feeling some way about it, right? So I think, Taj, you coming on? Hey,
I
darling.
am. So I have an
Yes.
idea in true
Okay.
God spirit. And I'm sorry that I'm not on camera because I don't know how to turn my camera back on.
Okay. We can't see your beautiful face tonight. Okay, I got it.
But in
I
true
got it.
God spirit, I think we can add that clip in post. So I will add it in. So this is a fantastic reminder to people to listen to the audio only version, which will be out this weekend. But
Okay.
I wondered if you and I could talk for a second, because I think I want to capture this conversation that you and I had yesterday about what sort of triggered this conversation to begin with. So, and we can clean all of this up in post. So let's just be live right now, you and me.
Okay. Yes, let's do it.
So yesterday we talked about that, like part of the reason that the first thing that brought this up is that you had gone on this dream date, one of your first dates that you'd gone on post-divorce. And this dream guy had told you, you brought up this thing about being an alpha female. He kind of cued that as a red flag. Then last week, me, you, the rest of the So What Now crew had this big conversation and this cool back and forth about what is it mean to be an alpha woman and all of these things. And then you and I talked yesterday about some of the realizations that you've been having over the past 9 months about being an alpha female, and about why, like, just things that happened in your marriage and things that you're discovering and how you're reconnecting with yourself. So can you just talk to me about like why you felt like you personally, MoShay, have always had to be an alpha female, and why you leaned on that in your marriage? What did you go into your marriage hoping you could be? Who did you go into your marriage hoping you could be?
Oh, baby, let me tell you, if I had to write the script on how this marriage was going to play out, I was going to be the type of wife that I love to be in the kitchen cooking. I love to cook for my man, honey. I love to create recipes and just see him sit and eat my food and just, oh, baby, it's so good. I wanted to be that kind of wife. I also wanted to be a freak in the sheets, honey. Yes, Betty Wright said it right. Betty Wright said it best. But I wanted to be a freak in the sheets, you know what I mean? Because at this point, when you're married, you can sort of let all of your inhibitions go, right? You can just do whatever. The fantasies can come alive. I wanted to be that kind of wife. I wanted to be a partner, business partner, right? I wanted to be a business partner where we could like build a business and we can dream really big things and accomplish them together and retire our mothers and build them beautiful houses and help our family. I wanted to do that. I wanted to travel. I wanted to, so all these things that I had in my mind that my marriage would be, I had glimpses of that. Right? I had glimpses of all of what I just said. But in the middle of having all of that, or simultaneously to having all that, I also had someone who rocked my foundation from day one. Meaning, like, we were building all of that I just said, the glimpses of what I just mentioned, we were building all that on a swampland. Because the foundation of trust had literally been destroyed before we even said I do. And so this spirit in me that has always existed, because again, I saw my mom, my grandma, I saw my mom, not my grandmother per se, but I saw my mom raise her 3 kids. And when I qualify her raising us, I'm like, oh, wow, my mom was only 31, 2 years old. She had 3 kids. She had bought a house. I mean, my mom was doing well, but she was doing it on her own, right? So when I'm starting to qualify the fact that, okay, I am an alpha female, but I'm in this marriage and I'm wanting to be this feminine, soft woman who's supportive and does all these wifely like feminine things, right? But then when you've got this mansion that you've built on this foundation that's truly soggy and sinking, right? Your alpha spirit just goes into sort of survival mode. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really go into, okay, girl, yes, this is your life. But you got to sort of take a little bit more control. You got to, because this isn't going in the right direction. You got to be a little more, whatever. And so that caused a lot of conflict. It did cause some conflict in my marriage, but I think it was very necessary, because even though when I look back in it, when I look back at it in hindsight, and now that I'm sort of through that part of it, even though I was very hurt by everything that happened, when I got out of it, I'm happy that I allowed my alpha spirit to lead me in that marriage, because I'm now out here in the world back on my own, and I'm okay. Like, I'm okay with fending for myself, because I know how to do that. I know how to be powerful, and I know how to lead, and I know how to, pull my shit back together. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy. I never let her go. I am happy that I am still who I was pre-marriage, now walking into my post-marital life. So I give reverence to the powerful alpha spirit of me, MoShay Loren. I give reverence to that. So I want to take this time to talk to you guys about what I've learned, right? I journal a lot. I literally, and I didn't bring that journal down here. Maybe I'll bring it down next week. I just opened one of my journals that I've had since 2008. How many years ago is that? 24, 2008? A long time. Okay, do the math. But I read a passage in my journal from 2008. And I do this because it's important to be able to get your stuff out. And sometimes getting your stuff out doesn't mean like calling your girlfriend and your mom or whomever, confidant. Sometimes it's just your thoughts on a piece of paper that helps you to sort of release it from here, because they always say there's more room out here than it is in here, right? And so I journal. And so I do this as a way to release and to also look back at it at times, just to be able to remind myself that, girl, you got this. You've been there. Look at the receipts. These are my receipts that God brought me through. These are my receipts that God brought me through. So whenever I feel like I'm in that moment where, oh my God, it's the end of the world, and will I ever get through? Will I ever, get to the other side of this? I read my journal so I can remember the days where I thought it was the worst day ever. And I'm like, girl, that was nothing. That was nothing. You know why? Because God is always God. And so what I've learned throughout this whole alpha conversation, what I've learned is that the spirit you feed is the one that grows. And I've led with my alpha energy for most of my marriage because I didn't trust, and I didn't feel safe and protected and secure. But those days are over. I am in my soft girl area. I'm practicing balance. I'm feeding my feminism with an extra helping of self-care every day and daily affirmations. Yet, I'm still taking charge of my life, my business, and my finances, creating my own sense of security and protection. I'm removing myself from situations or people who do not value me, and I am sharpening my discernment. This way, when God sends me my alpha Adam, I can step fully into my femininity and trust fall into his masculinity. Remember, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, every part of you. So cheers to never letting your superpower become your shame. Cheers, ladies. So what now? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Before we roll credits, hold on. Can I show you my beautiful babies? Can you look at my beautiful babies? This is Milo. Say hi, Milo. Come here, Maxie. I got to show you my beautiful babies. Where are my beautiful babies? Where's Maxie? Upstairs? Oh, Maxie went upstairs. Okay, just Milo. Okay. So What Now is executive produced and hosted by me, MoShay Loren. Our technical engineer is Abdul. Warren Thomas of City Country Creators designed our beautiful website. Check it out at MoShayLoren.com. And our logo. My girl Takia Crawford and Mika Maddox, are our social media managers. And my girl, super producer Taji Sr. is our senior producer. All right, y'all, I'm about to get out of here, but that does not mean that the show is over, because we got this new thing now called the So What Now TikTok Talk Back. It's really gonna be like a TikTok party for real. So y'all join me over there directly after this live, so we can continue to talk and unpack and drink. Remember, libation, hydration. So if you are really enjoying the community and the village that we're building here, I just want you to please like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. We want to hear from you. Join the conversation every week right here. Follow me on all social media, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, everywhere. Join me live back here every Thursday at 7 o'clock. And don't forget, you can check out the audio version of this show wherever podcasts are streamed on your way to work in rush hour traffic, especially if you live in Atlanta. And this is so important. Did I say please subscribe, like, and share? Please do that. This is a talk back community, not just a monologue. I want to dialogue with you, okay? Let's have a conversation and let me hear how you turned unexpected endings into beautiful, brand new beginnings. Remember, your story is your strength. And on the other side of healing is helping. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm MoShay Loren. Till next time.